up guys, it's Yen. So for today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys some tips, studying tips that have gotten me through almost 5 years in high school. I know that I've answered a question already in my Q&A video regarding study tips, but I think my answer there is quite broad. I'm making this video solely for the study tips so that I can explain it more. So I won't keep you guys waiting. Let's get on to the video. Tip number 1 is having an organized and peaceful study environment. When I say organized, what I mean is that when you plan to study on your desk, before anything else, before studying, you should take some time to declutter your desk.
And voila! You're now ready to study on your clean and organized workspace.
Because I really believe that
An organized workspace equals an organized mind, while a messy workspace equals a messy mind.
you get what I mean. Because if you work or if you study in a place that's very messy, like you will be stressed out along the course of your studying, trying to find your things. So beforehand, you should already clean your workspace. The next thing is having a peaceful study environment. And what I mean is that you should still consider the noise, because I know that some people can study in places that are very noisy, but some people can study in groups. Some people want to study with background music, but that really don't work for me, because whenever we try group study, we just end up talking. Sometimes it depends on the person who is with you. Also, when studying with background music, it doesn't work for me because I can easily be distracted jamming with the music. You can study with like chill music for studying, but I prefer peaceful and quiet, because really when studying, I'm the one who's noisy. Yes, you heard it right, I'm the one who's noisy when studying. I'll explain it to you guys later. Let's move on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is having a planner, because I'm a busy person sometimes. If you're like me who has a lot of things to do, tons of things you do, I highly recommend that you guys have a planner so that you would be able to keep track of the things that you should do or you have already done. You should have a timetable for your studying schedule so that it would be easier for you to keep track of your responsibilities. Also, having a planner can help you achieve your goal, to make sure that at the end of the day, all the tasks that you assigned for the day is already done. So whenever I plan my study schedule, I sometimes use my planner to write down the things that I should do. It's really nothing special about my planner, because I just casually write what I need to do. After that, I check it and I already finished it. And having a planner is also a good thing, because after you check out the boxes, like it really gives you a feeling of self-satisfaction, like I already did this, and it will motivate you to strive harder to finish the next one so that all the boxes are already ticked, if you know what I mean. Sometimes aside from the planner, I would also give you some tip, which is using your gadget. So in my phone, I have my notes. So here in my notes, I put planner, and then there are some pictures. I place the days, so Monday to Sunday, so I can write the task, and there are these dots that I can take off whenever I'm finished doing that particular thing. I learned this method from the YouTuber named Ashley Garcia. And I also have this app called Wonderlist. I highly recommend it to you guys because it's easy to use. Like when I downloaded it, I feel like I'm very organized, because you can add a certain folder or you can write the title, and when you click the title, you can see all the things or to-do tasks that you should do, and whenever you're already done, you can just take it off. And the good thing is that you can still see the things that you already finished. So that's basically it. Having a plan so that you won't get messed up. Tip number 3 is having good time management. I think this good time management is very, 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 very important. Like, it's not only in studying, like in all aspects of your life, and this time management goes hand in hand with planning, because when planning you should manage your time already, like set your time. For this time frame I would study this, for this time frame I would study that. But don't forget to give yourself like a 5-minute or 10-minute break so that your mind can rest. Having good time management is important so that you can make sure that you reach your goal, and you can make sure that at the end of the day all the things that you should do are already done. Time management also avoids wasting time. You know, guys, time is very important. Time is gold, so you should manage your time wisely. And also, whenever you study, you should invest more time in subjects that you find hard. At the end of the day, it really gives you a big sigh of relief that all things that you've planned for the day is already done, because number 1, you have a plan, and number 2, you have good time management skills. Tip number 4 is having a study method. So there are lots of study method for different people. Some people just do silent reading. Some people take down notes whenever they study because it's easier for them to remember it because they write it. Some people study verbally, and that's me. Earlier, I've mentioned that whenever I study, I'm usually noisy. My family knows that, my friends know that, my classmates know that, and sometimes they're teasing me. Sometimes when I study in the classroom, it looks like I'm talking to myself, like saying something, murmuring things, because I'm reading it verbally. So the reason why I read it out loud, or I read it verbally, is because for me, I think I would be able to remember it easily. Like, if I constantly say it and my ears can hear it, then it's easier for me to retain it to my memory. Also, whenever I study, like, I explain it to myself. So after reading this, I explain it to myself, so that's why I'm talking. It's my style. I don't know for you guys. I know there's a lot, but what I mean is that those study methods that I don't know or haven't tried yet, so you can experiment it with yourself if what study method is effective for you. And apart from that study method, whenever I study, I usually use my handouts or reviewers. So I print it because I'm used to studying with hard copy materials. Whenever I study with my notes, my handouts or reviewers or my book, I use my highlighters so that it would be easier for me to locate things. And I think it's also an effective method while studying, highlighting the words. Apart from that, when you want to go back to the lesson and you already studied it and there are already highlighters, it's easier for you to search because it's already highlighted. Like, you already highlighted the concept, so it would be easier for you to find the meaning of that concept. Sometimes I also study using my laptop. For my laptop, I make sure that all my documents are organized. Like, I have folders for my grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, because there are some documents that are still useful for the next grade. So if I still have it there, I can easily just look for it and browse it, and it might be helpful for me for my current year. So that's why I still keep it. And whenever I study using the laptop, I open the document in preview. It's in PDF file. I usually use highlighter to also highlight important concepts even if I'm using a laptop, because it's really effective to highlight, because you can see the important concept that you should remember. Let's now move on to tip number 5, which is repetition. I know repetition is also a study method, but I want to separate it from the others because I want to explain it thoroughly. Repetition, this is a kind of study method wherein you from the word repetition, you repeat something constantly so that it would be easier for you to remember it, or so that you will retain it to your memory. In repetition, what I usually do before studying, I take down notes. My notes is not that special. What I usually do with my notes is just I use small fonts and big fonts. Big fonts for the title or the important concept, and small fonts for the explanation or something. And I use colored highlighters, colored pens to highlight important things, and I sometimes draw shapes like boxes so that would be more pleasing to the eyes. It's also one way of highlighting the things. And of course, I use highlighter to highlight the important things that I should remember. I'm also fond of using sticky notes. It is where I can put additional information like the things that isn't in the PowerPoint or that isn't in the book, but what the teacher or professor is saying, so that I have additional knowledge. I know that there are lots of people who really invest time in taking down notes. I hope that I can achieve that too, but sometimes I'm lazy. Hands down to you guys. It's up to you guys in what method you write your notes, because at the end of the day, you're the one who will be reading it, and do it in the way that you know would be easier for you to understand. Just take into consideration yourself, unless there are some people who will borrow your notes, copy your notes. But also make sure that your notes is presentable, because some teachers really want to see your notes. Also, one thing why I prefer writing notes than just printing the reviewer and highlighting is that whenever I write and there's a quiz, I would sometimes have this photographic memory, like, oh, I remember that I wrote this thing or topic at the bottom of the notebook. If you guys get it, it's easier for you to remember a certain topic because you know that you wrote it in a specific place. Aside from writing notes for repetition, also practicing is very important, especially for math, where it requires solving, and also science, physics, chemistry, like that. You should constantly or repeatedly practice so that you would master the method. It's just repetition, practice, and mastery. Tip number 6, using flashcards or note cards or index cards. I'm also fond of using index cards because I can summarize the lesson so that it would be brief and concise. It's really perfect for reviewers before final exams, for periodical exams, because when you review for exam, you usually don't read the whole thing. Like, you just read a summarized version, but you understand it. I also have a separate index card for all the formula so that it's easier for me to look for it and not just look for separate books or whatsoever, because it's there already. Also, I have this formula thing posted on my wall. My friend recommended this method to me. I think that method is really effective because you just post it there and you can just see it whenever you enter your room, or when you're just on your bed, you have nothing to do, you just look at that. When you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing that you see. So I think that there's no excuse that you won't remember it or that you would forget it, because you see it like every day. Tip number 7 is one of my favorites. It's having motivation. People work with different motivation. Like, there are a lot of things that can motivate us. For me, I usually place food or chocolate in a certain page, and when I reach that certain page, I can eat the food. Food is life. So, like, make your studying fun. It's not always just being serious. Sometimes you can just tell yourself that after I finish this, I can watch this Netflix series, or after I finish this, I can finally sleep or whatsoever. But remember that learning something should be your motivation. Knowledge is very important. Motivate yourself that you want to have good grades, or you want to make your parents proud, or you want to graduate with flying colors, or whatsoever. So there are lots of motivation, so you guys figure it out yourself. Also, by the way guys, whenever you study, it's also important that you keep your gadgets away from you, because the temptation is there. So as much as possible, keep it out of reach so that you will be able to focus on your study. It's just a matter of discipline, guys. If you know how to discipline yourself, don't need to do that anymore. Last but not the least, this is my favorite, like super favorite. Number 8 is rest. In the midst of studying, it is important that you have like 5-minute or 10-minute break so that your mind will be able to rest. You should not overwork yourself. You should not stress yourself so much, because who knows, like you're compromising your physical or your mental health. At the end of the day, your health is still what's important in your course of life. Like whenever you study, you just chill, but not that chill. You just have, as what I've said a while ago, you have fun while learning. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just do what you can with your ability, because you know yourself that you did your best. So I think that's enough. After studying, do things that would relax your mind. Maybe just sleeping, or watching your favorite Netflix show, or watching other shows, or visiting social media, or just spending time with your friends, your family, or doing something that you really love. That's basically the tips that I can give to you guys. I hope that somehow I've been helpful to you guys. Like, I hope this video is informative and inspired you to study in some way. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. And I hope that you guys do your best this school year 2019 to 2020. Have a fun school year ahead of you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.